What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the D&D Aftershow. This was a special one-off where we have Mathis Games here with us hanging out and playing Sea Giants.
Hello! Thanks for having me.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's always fun. We're really trying to rotate more people into the show because it's really fun having friends over. Like, people coming over and hanging out, kind of adapting the campaign. Yeah. It's a really, really cool dynamic. It shifts things around. If you've got the stale old crew, you bring in a couple new people, they shake shit up.
You're saying we're stale?
I'm saying Bentham's stale because he's not here to defend himself.
Wow.
You're old news.
No, he's old nudes.
Old news, that's true. He was nude for most of the episode.
He never
Although
puts on
I
back
wasn't
on.
the one, for all the mean shit I've said about Bentham today, I wasn't the one that tried to get him to shit his pants via influencing the campaign.
Yeah,
Avic was over there like, he's shitting everywhere!
What the fuck was that, Evan?
It was too good to pass up. That kind of opportunity does not present itself often enough.
I'll be honest.
I imagine if this game had fate, like we did in DH, Avak would have used his fate there.
Oh, 100%. I would have been fating that role.
Yeah. Like, we had a conversation before the show. We're like, we should go easy on him. He's not here to defend himself. We open up. Avak goes, oh, he's shitting from both ends. And then from then on, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll be a bit harsh as well.
Different mental issue.
Bentham was just a lightning rod today. What we've learned is that we're all assholes, and if somebody is just unable to defend themselves, we are like wolves. Yeah. We just pile on them.
Well, when he was in the lagoon and stuff, and he fell down, I was like, I'm really tempted to like minor illusion, like a growing cloud of yellow coming out from around like his waist. I was like, do I? No.
How likely would a wyvern been able to see through that though?
The wyvern wouldn't have had any. Easy. I mean. It's not really a wyvern. Its stat bonuses are all pretty gnarly. So, I mean, it only failed like one roll against you guys, where she rolled like a 3, and with her bonus, that was enough to put her down low enough to where with one of your really, really good rolls, you beat her. So she's a force to be reckoned with. How are you feeling about that treasure you got?
I think that's going to be super, super useful.
Next time we encounter that big dude underground, the big dude who we couldn't stop and who squishes everybody.
I like how. What was your character's name already?
There's no characters.
That's just Enter Elysium. That's like all the. Yep.
No, not Dax. Not
Son?
No, not.
Adavi?
Nope, the other one.
Adavi.
Yeah, Adavi. I like how he would like did nothing in that fight, but he got handed the reward.
Yeah.
Well,
hey,
sometimes
I squished the only spider I saw. There you go, my reward.
Sometimes sometimes the kinghood doesn't make sense. It's just the first guy to pull the sword out of the stone. That's he doesn't deserve to pull the sword out of the stone. He's just the first one there to pull on it. It is what it is.
I was like intimidated by the little lizard, so I was like, I'm not gonna go forwards and accept rewards, etc. Anything. Other people can do that. I'm still intimidated.
Little lizard. Didn't she tower over Dax?
She didn't tower over me, but she was much longer than me.
She was like a Komodo dragon. I mean,
Oh, okay.
Which to Dax would be pretty large. That's a big lizard.
Like
an actual dragon to Dax.
She wouldn't be a medium-sized creature. She'd still be a small-sized creature, probably.
Yeah.
Really? A Komodo dragon, a small size? No,
she's 5 foot. She takes up an entire grid square. She's 5 foot.
I mean, a medium creature takes up an entire grid square as well. So would she be medium or small? Because there's like
she'd be small.
dog. She'd be small. Okay. In which case, I can't ride her into battle.
That was what you took from this entire adventure.
Yes.
Is can I ride that thing?
Yes.
I offered a ride, and you were like, nope, I want to walk. So
because you insulted my size. Dax is very sensitive about his size. He literally has an ability that I keep forgetting called Fury the Small.
Dax he overcompensates with a big voice.
Yep.
Yeah. That never turns off.
Ever.
It's not really overcompensating if it's all day, every day. That's just who the fuck.
I gotta
is.
say though,
true.
When you said, "Oh yeah, add the damage bonus from your spear to that slip of the hand," I was like, "Well, fuck my life. Goodbye, my hand."
It's the only way I can hurt you. I can't hurt you otherwise, so I have to come up with conniving evil plans that don't have anything to do with combat.
Just never say you slip unless the DM tells you to.
Yeah. Roll next, okay? Natural 20. I hate you.
Hey, Splat.
Yeah.
Hey, Splat, what are the chances that I get to use acrobatics for something at some point? Because I've had to roll athletics this session, last session, and the session before for lots of stuff. And I'm wondering if I can ever use acrobatics. But I've done a couple.
Try doing a handstand.
Climbing is athletics. The only reason I
Okay.
let Nasan get away with it is
because his class.
because of his class.
If
And
you try
so
to move across like a table or something in a tavern, and you're like trying to move across quickly, that would be like acrobatics. I kind of think athletics.
like when you were moving on the blood, remember? You got to use acrobatics
Yes.
every time you guys were moving across blood. It's just that like I like to vary things up a tiny bit as a GM to make things more thematically interesting to the classes. And so, you know, it's one of those things where you were
must
stuck up a
say,
tree.
I really liked it where there was like, oh, there's this information, and everyone's like, oh, can we all roll? And you said, no, not unless you've got proficiency. Unless you actually have a reason to have this knowledge, then no.
I think that's going to factor in a little bit
interesting.
more too,
That
because
was a really interesting one, because that'll hit me in a lot of ways. But
downside on that
I'd
one
like
for
to
me is
see
because
that.
Jack of all trades is specifically adding that for things, which means that it's less effective. But I can
Yeah,
see
but
why.
you've still had haven't you still had a lot of times where Jack of all trades that +1 helped out?
Every time I roll initiative, actually, because it counts on initiative rolls, which is amazing.
my thing right there is that for very specific roles where the character would have no idea, what you end up with a lot of the times is that players will be like, oh, I roll insight too. I roll insight too, even though they have no tangible
because
knowledge
I've got
to
a
help out with
20
the thing.
You know, I've got a 1 in 20
Yeah.
chance of being amazing.
Example would be Garrett rolling 20, and he knows instantly what are those things called that
Tyranids?
that Brander hunted. Yeah, the Tyranids. I mean, he's from a feudal world. Why would he have any clue what the Tyranids are? It's like he had the best knowledge out of everyone in the group what Tyranids were. That didn't make sense.
Exactly. It's
No,
not a rule that
I
I'm going to
like that.
implement all the time, but for very, very specific
yeah.
information, like the roof and how it was formed, it would make sense for somebody who's a magician or
I
a
think
sorcerer or whatever to be
It
like,
makes more
huh.
sense for a doing thing. Like, oh yeah, you're trying to follow these tracks. Roll survival. I don't have proficiency, but you're just trying to follow tracks. That's a thing in front of you.
Yeah.
Do it. If you're looking at these tracks and trying to work out what animal left them, no. You haven't got a clue, because you don't know survival. You can only roll if you got proficiency in that. Because at that point, there's no reason why you would happen to know, oh yeah, this is the track of the greater Flubbalub.
So you're saying
Flubbalub.
we as the human players of this need to roll logic to see if we can figure out what makes sense or what doesn't make sense to roll.
So, Matt,
No, the GM needs to decide.
Hi.
We don't need to
It's
do
just
anything.
the
GM
But
needs to make all
he's
those
not a
calls.
human.
It's time for you to really, really offend the entire group and ruin your reputation with us.
All right, I'm excited. I'm very good
What
at
do you-
this.
Outsider's perspective. What can we do
Ooh, yeah.
better? How do we
Oh,
make
dear.
ourselves better? How do we become
Lord.
you, buddy? How do we do
What do
this?
you, there's no way. See, that's the thing with
There's
DM.
no
I'm
way
gonna
you
take
can
the very-
become me. I'm far too good.
See, I'm gonna take the very diplomatic approach because it's the correct approach. D&D, it's so impossible to
You can't do
quantify
that. You don't
what's-
have proficiency in like persuasion.
Diplomacy.
So you
There's
gotta
no-
use deceive.
Yeah,
You're
roll
right.
bullshit.
Damn it, roll. And with the way I'm rolling today,
I'm
it's
fairly
gonna
certain
be poor.
Mathis has got proficiency in bullshit.
Yeah.
Look, if YouTubers got proficiency in anything,
Yeah,
it's
all Let's
bullshitting.
Players have that. We're
Yeah,
fucking magical.
I'm fairly
when it
certain
comes
we
to
all
bullshit.
There's-
got that.
But there's no wrong way to play D&D, right? Like
Yeah.
it's whatever you enjoy the most. So it's like there's no way to. I don't think there's a way to improve the way you're doing it. As long as you're enjoying it and the people watching are enjoying it, then you're doing something right.
That's a pretty good call for D&D. That's a pretty good perspective. I like it.
D&D can be a Diablo-esque hack and slash treasure 'em up, or it could be a deep story role-playing experience. Like it could be, or anything in between.
Yeah.
So
I felt bad for your character, man. I felt like you were doing fantastically outside of combat, and then the second spider
Right.
showed up. It was
That's
just
exactly
like,
right.
fuck my dice, fuck my dice, fuck my
Yep.
dice.
it was no good.
I mean, even when I give you
it's
inspiration, you rolled a 1 and then a 1 on the second time. I was
Yeah.
like,
So-
basically,
so-
we've only got maths around for this one fight effectively. Let's try and actually have some awesomeness. I was like, I'll throw you the inspiration just in case you need it. And then you rolled a
got
1.
the
I was like,
final kill.
we'll try this again.
He got the final kill.
I did get the final kill,
did.
but I missed everything else.
That's okay. We don't hold it
Surprisingly,
against.
that guiding bolt crit? Oh my god!
yeah, you
what
blew
the
that thing
fuck?
away.
It's because
That
it's a level
guiding
2
bolt crit
spell.
is
It's
absurd.
a level 1 spell that I overcast to level 2. So because I get extra die,
Oh,
and then I get double die, it was insane.
I saw level 1 cast, and it did like 30 damage, and I was just like, woo! Bards are so powerful! Jesus, don't fuck with the bard. That dude doesn't give a damn.
God, Goblin Bard. That is the most entertaining thing.
Goblin Bard
I enjoyed
Cleric.
that a lot. Oh, multi-class.
Oh yeah.
Yep, he's got a little bit of cleric in there.
If I
too.
choose to do a heal, I do stupid amounts of healing because I'm a life cleric.
And what's funny is I could smash Dax without like any trouble if I could just fucking get to him. But no, there's always Nuss on there, like a standing, whirling dervish titan of death. And it's just like, how the fuck do I get around Nassan to get to the healer? He's such a monster.
No, I'm still pretty tough. The issue is, if I get hit, I might lose concentration, and I like having my concentration buffs going because they allow people to kill things.
Oh, that bloody flanking rule, though, such a pain in the ass. Such a pain in the
It's
ass.
something we've probably got to learn about, because as soon as I didn't see that happening, and then as soon as it happened, I went, oh yeah, we've got to learn to stick together as a group and actually prevent the flanking happening.
Yeah, that way I can
'Cause that is
fireball
really
you
powerful.
easier. Exactly.
Yeah,
Let me fireball you.
This is why I
Look,
need
if those
counterspell.
spiders could fireball, then we were in some deep.
Yeah, I think we were in a
Well,
side
one of them
quest
had
at a
a-
way higher level than we were
One of
meant
them had
to
a
be.
necklace. Maybe it was a sorcerer spider. Who knows?
Did you keep
Oh,
the
no.
necklace? Did you keep that, or did you just chuck
Yeah,
it?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
He's using it as a belt.
Yeah, I debated
Fantastic.
saying to like Lysander, being like, by the way, we got you this thing from the spiders, but I assume since he was watching, because he said he was watching, I was like,
I'm going to be bringing it up. I just didn't want to extend the session. I didn't want to ask a question that was important right before.
Yeah,
we
it kind of
ended.
felt like it was drawn to the close. I didn't want to just.
So-
open my
Yeah,
mouth at
exactly. I
that
think
point.
we all had that feeling.
the big brown
Yeah.
spiders, how powerful were they? Because we never saw them in combat, because as soon as one got into combat, the next turn it ran away from Nosson, because I was too scared of
Yeah.
it.
I was
They had-
so
they
lucky
had-
because I was worried about that.
Yeah, they had about 40 HP. They can, but you hit him for like 35 with a guiding bolt on the first turn.
It was
So I was like, well, that's the
28.
first one flat. Yeah, it's like that's the first one flattened, and then Nosson goes in and hits for like 23 on his first turn or something like
Yep.
that. And so it's just like, what the shit do I do? It said I have a fight planner. It said that was a deadly fight. It
Yeah.
was like, this is a deadly fight for the party that I plugged in. And you guys
it-
just waded through it. You're like, ah, fuck it.
No, my
And
tip,
during the fight, two of us weren't even there. I wasn't even there for the whole fight, and Noson was cloaked for like the first 3 turns
Yeah.
or something. So it was like 3 people taking on all these spiders, and yet it was like,
The danger
was-
in that fight, I think, would have been if one of the big spiders got its fangs into somebody, because the little
Oh,
spiders
yeah.
hit with a poison that fucking rocked
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
curious
so that
what
was
the
exactly
poison
what
would
I
have been.
was
with
that's
the big
that's why
guys.
I, as a DM, don't tend to use the spiders at level 1 and 2, even though you can, because the poison's so great, 2 hits will take anyone down, even at level 3. And if you just get unlucky, you just have a couple of rolls, bam, that's someone down very quickly. So that's why although people say, oh, these are level 1 and 2 enemies, I'm like, I wouldn't touch these at level 1 or 2, because you could
No, I
easily
wouldn't
crit
either.
someone.
I play another game called Thea the Awakening, and it has an enemy very similar to that. Spiders again, but they get a piercing attack, which just changes the way the battle works. And they're so deceptively dangerous. They're a super low level enemy, but if you're fighting 4 or 5 of them and they all got piercing attack, they can alpha down one of your cards.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. You've got this huge team of seasoned warriors, and then a bunch of spiders just nuke them. And it's
I'll
like,
be honest,
I hate my life.
the spiders could have wrecked us if they had chosen to dash on that first turn, because they would have caught a lot of us, engaged in combat, and forced us to do different things.
See, I wasn't aware that spiders could take the same actions a bipedal human could. Like, it just says they move 30 feet on their stat sheets. It doesn't say
Yeah.
anything about dashing or anything like
Oh,
that.
yeah, they
and
have
since it does
complete-
specifically
everything,
say other actions they can take in their little skill section, I just assumed that since it specifically pointed out some
Yeah.
things, they cannot do the other things.
No, they can do.
Oh,
The downside is, as a GM, you just have to know, like, how clever are they? Would they do this? So that they might not dash because they've just come out of the ground and they run like vibrations or something.
The fighting, I thought, was really good. It's just that it was the victim of the dice. You know,
Yeah.
a very dangerous combat was made easy for some, less easy for others based on dice rolls.
Yeah.
You guys
was-
have very
but I have
much
to
nice
say-
because you've had 2 hard fights now that you've just
Yeah.
waltzed through, and both times my fight planner has said, like, don't do it. This is a deadly fight. And both times you've come through with like 1 person at low
So
HP.
the fight
Just
plan
like,
you're
eh.
working is based off of the D&D like advice for these are how many points, etc. What I've picked up from playing 5e and DMing it is that the beginning of Deadly is about right for clever parties. That's about a normal fight. There is a level of lethality in there, but it's probably going to be generally okay. There's a risk, but that's
Yeah.
for clever parties who know how to do and handle fights and stuff.
And to be fair, Dax burned a ton of resources. Like, you went through pretty much every slot you have.
I had 2 slots
when it
left, one of which I
describes-
used on the bees.
Yeah, and it says that if you have a deadly fight, everybody should be pretty much tapped out of, like, most of what they have by the end of
I
the
used
fight.
up half of my special resources in that fight.
I mean, to be fair, I used 0 of my spells in that fight, and I should have.
That's true. I forget that Rangers ever get spells. I always forget that.
Oh,
They
Rangers
basically
start-
make it easier just to hit things.
When you
That's what
go
it-
when
and
you
I
go
should- I
hunter
needed it.
though, I mean, yeah, like you've got Hunter's Mark, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like that's the only one that like really appeals to a hunter because 1d8 on an injured enemy is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
That was like the other two were like interesting. The other two choices I had, but that one, which I think is like Colossus something or other.
Yeah.
I was like an extra D8 of damage on an injured enemy. That's insane.
Because that means that like you're fighting like a dragon, like just a single enemy like tank, like a HP sponge. Someone hits it first, you go, cool, now I attack, and then from then on in the combat, it's plus D8 every time.
And it really synergizes well with casters that have things like Magic Missile, where they can spread the damage around to everyone, because basically they can give you bonus damage on everything on the battlefield now just by being like, my missiles fly everywhere!
Yeah. And because they auto-hit. All you gotta do is auto-hit them for like that 1 damage or something.
Yeah.
I was assuming that the big spiders had poison. I didn't realize the small ones did. So my reasoning in the first turn, right, I can't easily get in combat unless I charge into the middle of this group. And that is going to kill me. That is not playing smart. That's playing really dumb. So I moved off to the side. And I figured, right, I'm going to wait for this first group of small green spiders to basically converge on Mormont and Hoo-Ha. And then I was going to come out behind them or in front of them. It didn't really matter. As long as they were within 5 feet of an ally, I would get automatic sneak attack rolls on anything I attack with my finesse weapon, which was my original plan. It's just come out where I can do a whole bunch of extra damage on everything I'm attacking, and then with the unarmed as well. But then that was thrown into disarray. But once I saw that, oh, actually they're poisonous. Oh, this is a lot more dangerous than I thought. So when Uha needed to move away, and it was like, okay, Dax, they've got a conceivable route now to Dax, effectively. If Wuhan needs to pull out, then that was the reason I just charged in. I just like, no, I'm going to stand here. Then I'm just going to try and tie them up. At least spread the damage, if nothing else.
It worked really well, like the fact that you just blocked that one spider just by random happenstance. I was like, wait, not someone blocked the spider. Let me just check. This works. Run away, spider. And then you just get opportunity attacks.
So good.
So
good.
That was a good moment. That was some classic teamwork.
But the big spider.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
A double HP, so they had about 40 HP, 35 HP in there, and then they attack twice, the same way that the little ones do. So it could have gotten nasty. It could have gotten a little bit lit.
Like, I think that generally high AC helped us there. We've all spec'd effectively for high AC. Like, we've got the Sorcerer with the scales, and I've multi-classed for that, and of course, Monk is amazing AC anyway. Like, if we were lower AC, we'd have been in some issues there. Like, you know,
they were
there were a lot of
15s and 14s.
There were a lot of missed attacks from the spiders. A lot.
And they were good rolls, too. They were like 16s and 15s, and they just couldn't hit with really
One
good
was just
numbers.
1 point below my AC, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, thank goodness. You know, so... But the combat was fun, but I gotta be honest, some of the stuff with just the regular roleplay was just hilarious. The stuff with the tree... And him just charming the bees down and just being a bee pipe and moving away.
As soon as I saw the bees in the tree, I was like, I have a plan for this.
I was waiting
fantastic.
for that to go wrong the entire time. Somebody was going to fall out of a tree. Somebody was going to squish the queen. And like, you guys, your rolls were so good.
The
They were
only
amazing.
thing that went wrong was the little stadium he made was a 7 roll.
Yeah,
that
I
was
was really
it. Everything
disappointed in
else was good.
That was good.
What
really
a
enjoyed
shitty
that.
stadium. The bees are offended. They kill you. You take 10 damage.
I was really afraid
I'd
that
be
I would
more
be like
impressed.
not far enough away and they'd like disturb the hive, and then I would just be like, fuck, swarm of bees.
Yeah, I was
wasn't
more impressed
sure-
that the bees like sat down in the stadium.
Yeah. I know.
But we'll let Mathis go now.
Yeah.
That was a really fun session. I'm excited. As far as XP goes, Mathis, you level up to 20. Everybody else, you're back at level 1. And we will see you all next week.
I fully expect my character to wander off and they find his dead body at some point in the future.
No, I hope there's an opportunity for Mathis to come back with that rather interesting character.
Do like we did to Knorr, make him into like a legend as he leaves.
Yeah.
I'll
He
happily pick
achieves
him
some
up another
amazing
time.
feats, saves a whole village of
Orphans.
sea giants.
Yeah.
It was
Sea
awesome,
giant
guys.
orphans.
All right.
Take
All right,
care,
have a
man.
good show, man.
Goodbye,
Thanks again.
Patreon supporters.
Bye, Patreon supporters.
Bye.